All right, good morning, everybody. Last week of the year 2022, I took the week off from work. I got a week just to relax at home, and I'll be working on some stuff here in the workbench and around the house. And but I want to do some quick videos. It's kind of like an update. I wanted to make sure. How can I say it? Um, I started watching a lot of Detroit diesel 8 valve 71 videos on YouTube. And each one I saw, the configuration on the motors was different than the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And then with no way of me knowing how the setup is on our Detroit diesel down in Austin, Texas, short of being there and taking pictures, and there ain't one here in my neighborhood, I did a deep search on Google the last 3 weeks, and I couldn't really find detailed shots of the layout inside the motors and stuff. So I found a video of the Detroit diesel on these guys' YouTube channel. I'm going to go ahead and give them a shout out because I haven't gotten a hold of them to ask if I could use a little bit of their video. The name of the outfit is Alpha Truck Parts MX. Alpha Truck Parts MX is down in the MX stands for Mexico, so it's outfit down in the state of Hidalgo, which is right up against Mexico City, and it's a state with a lot of rich old ancient history, and it's in the heart of old Mexico. And these guys have their company down there, and they rebuild engines and repairs on big rigs and heavy equipment and stuff, and they sell the stuff, turn around and flip it. And in this particular case here, what these guys did is and why I'm doing a kind of weird review type update, is these guys actually got an 8 valve 71 Detroit diesel, rebuilt it. Now they're putting it online to sell it. And but what I love about it is they fired it up, as we shall see. Maybe not. We're gonna go over here. Videos popular. So I watched it and I loved it. And what they do in their video right here is they literally
Hola, ¿qué tal, amigos de Alpha Truck Parts? El día de hoy tenemos un video muy especial. Vamos a hablar de esta mítica serie 71 de la...
Now I'll translate, and we're not gonna watch the whole thing, but they literally take with their camera. As they start the motor, they take it all around the engine, so you get to see every nook and cranny of it pretty much as best you can. And so I got to see where the layout, where my stuff should be, shouldn't be, what was missing, the lines, air lines, oil lines, stuff like that. So it's a real helpful channel. They do it real quick. It's in Spanish. No big deal. I'll translate right now. Pretty much you can figure it out. But I decided that even though this may not be the setup that's in the dump truck down in Austin, this is the setup I'm going to use for my Detroit diesel that's going in my model of that version, because there's no way for me to get out there or spend the money or go through all that stuff. So this is where I plant my flag and I make my last stand. I'm going to use his Detroit diesel as the model for my Detroit diesel. So there was a lot of stuff that the video showed me that I needed to move around on mine, or maybe was not slightly out of place. And what I love about this guy, and you'll pick it up without understanding the language, is how highly he speaks of this motor. He's literally giddy. He's beaming with enjoyment talking about it. He's talking about how we all remember Detroit diesel, and some of us got to drive them, some of us got to work on them, is what he's saying. And he goes, and he used the word mystique of the Detroit diesel 8 valve 71. And you'll know he refers to the motor in 3 places on the video as La Chulada. So what he's doing there, he's literally telling us that's the name they gave that Detroit diesel. That's what they refer to her as. La Chulada means the beauty. So what a trip, man. Literally, that's something we tell our girlfriends. La Chulada, okay? And that's how warm they speak of this motor. I think
la marca Detroit Diesel. Muchos de
I
ustedes,
enjoy
al
that.
igual que yo, recordarán estos motores con nostalgia, ya que crecimos escuchando estos motores, viéndolos. Muchos de ustedes inclusive trabajaron con ellos. Y para todos nuestros amigos de las nuevas
Alright, let's speed it up
generaciones
here.
que no las conocen, quédense en este video para que podamos aprender un poco más de esta mítica serie 71 de
Right after the commercial.
nos está ayudando a conectar esta chulada. Ya le puso el diésel, como pueden ver, la batería. Y pues llegó el...
See, on this particular shot, I got tons and tons, especially when he pans the camera around. So this has two lift, it has a big lift ring back here. So I'm going to include that on my motor. And it's got other neat stuff. The airline layout is all set up. This was not on mine AMT one, but I'm going to make one. I'm going to make one out of brass or metal. There's all sorts of stuff I'm going to share with you guys real quick. Here we go, he's going to fire it up.
¿Qué tienes que decir al respecto, Pato Lucas?
Que lo prometido es deuda, quedamos que la chulada iba a jalar al 100. Y esto es nada más música para sus oídos.
Okay, so what I really love about this video, and you'll probably pick it up right now as you're looking at this shot here, is they get close up and they take you all around the motor. I mean, literally, you can see every bolt head, everything that should be on there that isn't, or vice versa. Fittings are in different places than maybe on our parts on our model. This became very interesting, and they kept the camera in there real close. They'll go all around it right now. Just keep checking it out. But this is where I just kept stopping and freeze framing about 100 times because I'd spot something different that I didn't see before. And okay, I'll show you guys right now. Cool, interesting stuff. Okay, in this shot here, number one, there's a lift ring right there. Now there's only one. I thought it was missing the other. There should be two, but actually that's dead center. And you got two lift rings in the back, so you get that triangle configuration for lifting big heavy objects. So that works. That explains why it only has one lift ring up top dead center. You can see all the air lines and oil lines and water lines, all the connections, the water pump going down, just like the AMT part. You can see that big giant nut on the end of that bolt that holds that fan in place. Oops, just knocked over my Detroit diesel. All right, let's keep going. Okay, here's a cool thing I never noticed before. There's no way I'm gonna add it because it is almost impossible and would always come out crooked. On the supercharger up here, check that out. I never knew it had this curved flare up here, this piece of metal here. I guess it's got them on the side, just like our models, but none of them, even the resin one, didn't come with this flared curved top part. And I see it now on all those housing units pretty much every time I watch a video now. Okay, there's your air conditioning compressor. Now on the AMT part, they give us, it's like a generic part. They use it in all their kits. It's a lot smaller. The Detroit diesel one is a little bit bigger, so it looks massive here. So I didn't use the one from the AMT kit. I had a leftover one from one of the resin kits, which is 1/24 scale. I used that instead. But that's a good shot there because once again, it shows you the connections between, I'm gonna guess that's oil? No, air? Oh, who knows? But anyways, just keep going. Okay. It moved too quick and it herky jerked. But there's another lift ring right between this housing here and this hose. You see that tab there? That's actually a lift ring with a hole in it. That's a 2 in the back and 1 in the front setup that they have on this particular engine down in Mexico, in the state of Hidalgo. There you can see how massive the air conditioning compressor unit, or the compressor unit is, air compressor, compared to the AMT one. The AMT one's tiny. Look how huge that thing is. And once again, you can see a bunch of airline connections and different type of lines in this. There you can see the lift ring. You can start seeing a little bit of that eye opening as the camera pans to its left. It becomes more apparent. Okay? Now this is a great shot because the lift ring is bolted with 2 bolts here on this side, and there's not one on this side, but the holes are there just like on the model. So I'm going to drill those 2 holes out on the model. It just keeps getting better and better. Oh, this is a fantastic shot. Check this out. When I hit start again, the video will play forward and you'll see it a little bit more better, but briefly. But let me point it out where it's going to come out and where you can see a little bit of that. That's actually a builder's plate, a metal builder's plate that's put in back of that valve cover on the left-hand side. I go, wow, that's interesting. Did they all come like that, or only the ones made in Mexico came that way? But I wasn't expecting that, and check that out. See that? Look how long that builder's plate is. So, we're pretty much done. Okay, they're going to shut it off right about there. Alright, so check out that channel when you guys get a chance, if you want to see and hear a real Detroit diesel 8-valve 71 and get nice, clear, close shots of one in case you want to get all that good detail. So we'll keep this video pretty quick. Okay, so number one, what I had to do, I had to pop my 2 get some light on this thing. I had to pop my 2 valve covers because the way the AMT set up, gave them to us, they're backwards. So I had to put this one on that side, that one on this side. I used crazy glue, so they popped off with no problem. And then I'm going to add the lift ring, the center one will go right there. It gets bolted on the side of this piece here. We'll have the lift ring there, all the water pump and all the lines and stuff. We got them over here on the side. They've been primered and ready for paint. We'll add the starter. Let's see what else we need here. The real one would have a hole here, or that elbowed tubing going down in there. We're not going to add either to this because if we're going to use the square airbox cleaner that comes with the AMT kit, you'll never see it anyways. You know, it'll be like that. So no sense in modeling it just to cover it up forever. We'll just leave a solid piece there. I got all the pieces back here, the fan covers, compressors, all that good stuff. Let me see. So pretty much, oh, and on the rear, we're going to add the lift ring here and only add the 2 holes of the lift ring on this side to match the one on the video. We'll work on that today. I'll shoot a video when it's all done. I'll probably do like a YouTube short without doing another long dragged out video. So there's all the parts that we had to modify or find or fix up or slightly make a little adaptation on them. And they're primered, and I'll hit them with paint today. We'll install them on the model and then we'll hit them with paint. Of course, you saw the airbox right now. So the little breather element that sticks up on top here, AMT gives you one, and so does the resin outfit. I did not like either, so I used a little bit of the the resin outfit one, and I'm going to use a little piece of aluminum or brass, and we'll put that there. And you'll see when she's done what I'm trying to accomplish there. Our lift rings, we already have the piece of brass for that. So we'll cut the sections. We only need 2 of them. Remember, it's missing one on the video, and then we'll draw out the little hole and put them on the model. Just to make the little detail pop. Detail that will no longer be seen once it's shoved into the large cavernous cab, underneath the cab anyways, and on a cab over unit, so you probably never see the front anyways. Let's see here. I think that's about it. So work on that. Another thing I want to, the builder's plate. You saw the builder's plate in back of the valve cover on the left hand side. I know I have some. I know I have some, and sure enough, I got many. And the ones we are going to use are right there, the longer ones. I don't think I'll make it as long as the one on the video, but these are off of O-scale. There's a catalog number, builder's place for AMD from, I guess, the 50s to the present. These are micro scale decals for your O-scale locomotives in model railroading. I got a huge box under the workbench here. Huge, many boxes of O-scale decals, and I knew I had that. Now this is going to say GM on there and a bunch of other stuff, but who's going to get back there to see? I just think it's a neat feature. It may be only unique to the one we see on the video because it's down in Mexico. Maybe that's the way they did it in Mexico and not here, but I like the way it looks, and I already said I'm modeling my Detroit diesel because I have no other one to copy off of this Mexican Outfits Detroit diesel, just so I have a reference, and at least I know I built something following a real one. That's just the way I think. Just goofy, I know. Real quick, I have not been happy with my fuel tank. Now this is not the AMT fuel tank. This is actually a fuel tank off of one of my other big rig models, and I like it. But I spent about 3 days experimenting and wasting my time and ruining metal, where I said, you know what? I'm going to go out and I'm going to look everywhere. I'm going to find the correct tubing so I can make see if I can make an actual aluminum fuel tank or stainless steel or whatever looks good in the correct length and the correct width, because I'm going to use the AMT ends. It's just the basic, body of the tank is what I want to replace. And I want to start using real metal fuel tank straps. Now I'll keep this big support part up here in styrene plastic. My styrene plastic here in this particular model, where you see this shot here, I actually have metal, not pins, they're more rods, drilled through the center of this, and they poke through the frame. I pre-drilled some holes, and then they're glued in place that way it could take the weight of the fuel tank. I got a big copper tube inside that fuel tank. It's a heavy fuel tank, but I wanted to see if I could pull it off in metal and see what it would look like. And guess what, guys? I think I kind of succeeded. I want to share this with you. I don't know if we're going to go this way. There's a good chance. Let's put something here so it doesn't roll away. There we go. So this is on the package they described it as brushed metal. It's more of a stainless steel appearance I thought it was real brushed metal. After I cut it, well, let me show you this. I found several pieces, different colors, but the one we're using is this one. They sell them in all sorts of lengths and prices. This one cost me about 12 bucks. This is the one you see there. But the one on the video has a bleached out aluminum one, and that's what I'm looking for still. Now they did have an aluminum looking one there. When I brought it home, I looked at it closely. It's actually not aluminum. It's just painted a weird metallic, not a weird, a real nice metallic silver or gray. And we're going to cut out a piece of that too and see how it looks. In this particular case, if I just, and I'm going to keep looking for tubes. And look how thick that guy is. So, these little bands just pop right off. I want to be able to, you know, model a feature I think is kind of neat. A real metal fuel tank and the metal straps or the bands that hold it up. And we kind of put it off here. These are too fat, too wide. I actually would be using this width instead of this width. But I'm just doing it for, you know, demonstration purposes. So it almost matches, just a little bit wider than the AMT stock part. So if I decide it does work, or a tube I find does work, then I'll put the bands over it. And get that beautiful weight. It's heavy. And that beautiful finish. Now, I did discover something when I had a lot of fingerprints on this after I was done cutting. So I got steel wool just to polish it real quick. I have the one that have 4 zeros, steel wool. And it fogged it up. And I looked closely and I started seeing chrome patches on there. This outfit that did these, I think they're for ceiling fans. They just chromed the tube. They chromed it and they put some sort of clear finish, some specialized clear finish, and that clear plastic or some sort of plastically looking type finish encased the whole tube, and then that is what they brushed. So it gives it the appearance of brushed metal, but it's actually not. It's literally, and when I hit it with the steel wool to get rid of the fingerprints, it took off that plastic, or I keep saying plastic, right? But that clear finish, and it browned down to the bare chrome finish. Same type of chrome finish that you'd see on like a socket set. This is a Craftsman one, but check this out. Speaking of sockets, this is the correct width, and you can make it the length whatever you want for these tank ends. That was going to be my original idea. Look at that. I was going to cut this socket to the correct size and use that instead of or see if I could use that. Thank God I found these things here, because I did not want to cut one of my sockets, especially one of the deep ones. So I'm goofing around a lot with that. I may find the correct aluminum tube. I'm pretty sure I will. But in the meantime, we'll just keep this stuff on there. But it will be replaced one day. I already showed you my parts. I think we're pretty much done. Oh, something huge I wanted to share with you guys. A big surprise. I have not been able to bend these type of lips in such tiny size and on a double. So you're doing double. You only have to do one, you could pull it out. But when you do two, and they got to be perfect, and you got to do great lengths, you're talking, it gets very, very hard. And that's where I struggled on the bumpers of my big rig. So I finally figured it out. And I did it the other day, the same day I was working on the fuel tanks, and I pulled it off. I had to practice. I had to modify my my brake or bender. I had to modify it so it could do tiny, tiny lips and bends. This is even tinier than this. This is what I use on the inside of my frames of my my AMT big rig kits. But now I can actually make my own at the correct height or width or length that I want out of actual metal or brass or whatever I want to use. But I did it. Man, this little piece here made me so happy, and I polished it off with steel wool and wanted to make it look pretty. It was a piece of scrap. You can see all the scrap marks. But there we go. if I ever decide to make a frame out of all metal, I can pull it off. Or next time I try to make a bumper, I won't have these big bends, because that was a limitation of my of my brake or bending machine. Now I can make them real tiny. So it opened up a lot of possibilities for not just today, maybe or maybe not on this model, but in all the models coming down the road. I'm now working on a new phase, a new little skill, I guess, where it will be applied to every single model I build from here on forward. I use a lot of metal on my big rig kits. I'm going to continue doing that, but as I find new ways and new techniques, I'll incorporate them into my future builds. So it may not seem like nothing to nobody, but this is huge. This is huge. And it came out perfect. Perfect. I am so happy. And this, I'm so happy. So little by little, baby steps. Thank you for joining me. I'll finish the Detroit Diesel today. I will not shoot a video on that. I'll put a YouTube Shorts video on there. That would just see it real quick, and then I'll move on to the next phase of construction. You guys take care. Be safe. I hope you guys had an awesome Christmas and an amazing, unbelievable, killer happy 2003. Yeah, 2023. And very prosperous and good health and great modeling. You guys take care. Thank you for joining me on my ramblings. But there you go. You guys take care.